welcome to the Skeptic Zone, the podcast from Australia for science and reason. Here are your hosts, Richard Saunders and Stefan Sojka.
Hello, Richard. I'm back in the zone.
Stefan, we thought you were dead.
I almost was.
You were, eh?
I almost was. It's been so long. Yeah, I've had this massive, great bronchitis thing that lasted about 6 weeks.
That's no good for a singer.
No, it's not. Fortunately, for some reason, I didn't have many gigs on at the moment. I think it's a thing that I do. Every time I don't have no gigs, I get sick. Yeah, but there you go. So it's good to be back in the zone, though.
Oh, it's good to see you back here, Stefan. Now, I bet because you were so ill, you were trying a few of the old alternative remedies?
I tried everything. I placed a call with Médecins Sans Médecins, Doctors Without Medicine. Yeah. They couldn't help me. I had the life wire happening everywhere. Yeah. I tried the 1, 2, 3 gut flush. I did everything.
Oh, no.
Crystals, chanting, chakra balancing. And you know what? The bacteria in my bronchial tubes just wouldn't go away.
Get away.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You would have thought with all those treatments it would have, but no. And in the end, I went for antibiotics.
Really?
Yeah.
So you sucked up to modern scientific medicine, did you?
That's right, modern big pharma.
Big pharma.
Yeah, I'm kowtowing to big pharma now, and yeah, the funny thing is, it actually worked. It's a miracle. It's a miracle that antibiotics work to fight bacteria in your bronchial tubes.
It's a miracle, and it's also a miracle that this is show number 83.
It is not.
It is.
Richard, this show is... I can't believe... I thought it was going to be dead after 6 episodes, and we're still going.
Did you? Oh, thanks for your confidence.
No, I had more faith than that. 83, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's the 21st of May, show 83, and what an interesting show we have for you. We have a report... we went once again to our favourite place, the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival.
Mind, Body, Spirit?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not allowed to say wallet anymore.
All right, Mind, Body, Wallet.
That's the festival I know and love, yes.
Well, we went there a number of years ago and we filmed a report there.
Yeah, no, we had a lot of fun, yeah. And they do it, don't they do it like twice a year?
Twice a year in Sydney, yeah.
You'd think even like once every couple of years is probably enough, but they do it twice a year.
And it was packed out. We could hardly move. There were hundreds of stands and thousands of people milling around getting their chakras realigned and all sorts of things. Or as my brother said, who joined us on the trip, he came up with a beauty. He said, "I've come here to get my spirit cleansed and my hog washed."
Oh, that's a good one. I actually should have turned up and just coughed all over everybody and just seen how magically they all defended it.
That you should have. We saw some interesting people there, that's for sure. But that report's just on its way. You know what? We're also getting letters from people wanting to hear more of Dr. Stefan.
Oh, I tell you what. Well, as soon as Dr. Stefan makes his full recovery, the course of our antibiotics are nearly finished. He's coming back. He's coming back in a big way. I know I've been out of the loop for a while, but Dr. Stefan Sojka is, I think there's a non-smoking course that I think he's working on at the moment, but it's in the labs. It's in the labs. It's about to be released. So, and what another think tank?
Yeah, and that's followed by the think tank with Dr. Rachael, Dr. Krissy. Our good friends Jason and James joined us in our favourite club down the street, and we have a good old chat. Fun. But we're very excited because we're working very hard every week, I can assure everybody, on TAM Australia.
Oh, that's going to be massive in November, isn't it?
It's in November. More stars than the Milky Way are coming along to TAM Australia.
So you got a few more celebs coming down, have you?
Well, the lineup includes James Randi, DJ Grothy, Brian Dunning, Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, Simon Singh, Eugenie Scott, Dr. Carl Kruszelnicki, Dr. Paul Willis, Fred Watson, the astronomer. It goes on, and more names on the way. Dr. Rachael, Dr. Krissy, myself. You'll probably be there.
I'm going to be there.
To take tickets at the door or something.
I think the Earth is probably going to shift on its axis from the weight of scepticism in Sydney coming down under.
I think so. And the good news is the official website will be up in a matter of a week or so.
Oh, excellent.
Or maybe a week or two, but very soon, and all the names will be there, and details about tickets will be coming along before too long too.
Oh, it's going to be a huge one. So I reckon a few more people should come for a holiday and enjoy the wonderful atmosphere here in Sydney and all the climate and everything, and even after it's finished, they could go for a trek up north to the Cairns or Byron Bay.
Absolutely.
Or go to Ayers Rock. Make it a big holiday. Come for the big TAM Sydney. And stick around for a while and check out Australia.
A lot of people will be doing that, absolutely. And before that, of course, we're getting ready. A group of us from the Australian Skeptics and the Skeptic Zone are off to Las Vegas for TAM 8 in Las Vegas.
Oh, Richard, you're such a jet setter.
I know. I like racking up those frequent flyer points. Fryer points. Points. That's right.
Well, I think we should just get on with the show because I'm about to have another hacking any second now. So let's get into it, and I guess I'll see you at the other end.
Okay.
All right, Richard.
Hello listeners, and welcome to the Mind Body Wallet Festival, or the Mind Body Spirit Festival. I'm here on the steps at the Sydney Exhibition Centre, and we're about to go in once again to brave the Mind Body Spirit, and I'm here with Richard. Hi Richard.
Hi Rachie, why do we do it?
I don't know.
What was that?
And I'm also here with James, or Bastard Sheep. Hi James.
I'm scared.
James is scared. Did you bring your sheep to help you?
No.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to come.
All right.
I mean, I guess we'll see the standard kind of stuff that we usually see. There's going to be some fun stuff. There's going to be some, nice smelly soaps and good food. But there's also going to be some fairly scary stuff, isn't there, James?
Yeah, well, the Scientologists are here, so you've got to expect
Yeah, that's true. Scientologists are here. There's usually people selling magic water that cures all kinds of things. I expect they'll be here again this year.
Along.
You've got your own? How much is that one?
$2, I think.
I don't think it's $2 inside. All right, listeners, well, we're going to brave the
You still have your
entrance.
ticket, Rachie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got my ticket. We'll go in and maybe, who knows, maybe we'll find people doing the applied kinesiology.
The applied kinesiology.
Oh, we just had our photograph taken. There
We
you go.
have, actually.
Yeah.
He took about 5 photos of us, in fact. Yeah, so we might see that. You can demonstrate
He
it.
must recognise you, that guy taking photographs.
No, I think he's suspicious of us.
Oh,
Probably.
suspicious. I can demonstrate it. Yeah, I think I can. Somehow, I think I can demonstrate it.
Actually, you probably recognise us, you, Richard, for your kinesiology video.
He might.
How many hits has it had now?
Over 1,000.
And so our small party went into the Mind Body Spirit Festival. Well, listen, we've been doing this now for nearly 10 years. Every 6 months, in fact, wandering through the halls of psychics, crystal healing, chanting, lots of drumming for some reason. Mystical pills and potions, machines that work on quantum energy. And the question always is, well, why do we do it? Well, I do it personally to learn what the other side is thinking, or not thinking as the case may be. And every time I go, without exception, I learn something new. This time, especially this time, I learned a few more tricks on how the applied kinesiology muscle testing works. Even though I thought I knew practically everything there is to know, I was still surprised by some of the ways that the practitioners were using to sell this idea. We saw some new things too. Titanium Tesla discs that save you from radiation. Some sort of molten plastic that prevents you from getting terrible dire consequences from flying airports and airplanes. However that works, I really don't know. It's very common to see at these Mind Body Wallet or Mind Body Spirit festivals people who will diagnose your problems using everything from intuition to sensing to machines that are based on pseudoscience, like the magic of quantum energy, for example, which are just needles and dials that flash and whir. But the people who will diagnose you, remarkably enough, on the shelf behind them will have what you need to be cured. Be it homeopathy or mushed up garden scraps, who knows, or some weird such thing. Now, for years, Australian skeptics have been trying to get the health authorities interested in Mind Body Wallet. Seems to us that it's really a free pass for people to do all sorts of flim-flammery and get away with it. Lots of cash in hand, lots of cash in hand, lots of cash being passed about at this place, and I don't think very many records would be kept. I might be wrong, who knows. There's 50 or so psychics in a big room doing palm reading and crystal ball reading and tarot cards and all the usual things. It's quite funny to be stopped there occasionally and people look at me and say, "You've got a familiar face, where have I seen you before?" I gave somebody my card, a $100,000 challenge card from Australian skeptics, a psychic, who immediately scoffed, putting me down on the spot. "Oh, you're just one of those skeptics. I don't have to do this," etc. Well, I guess you know the story. If you have the chance to visit a Mind Body Spirit festival or a New Age festival, as a good skeptic, you should go. You should go and ask questions. It's a mistake to go there thinking you can change minds or you can reveal something which will shatter illusions. That just won't happen. Even when I did the applied kinesiology tricks back on the people doing the tricks to other people, of course it didn't make any difference. If they're sincere and believe what they were doing, then I'm not going to change their mind, even if I can do the same sort of thing. And if they're con artists fleecing the public, they're going to tell me to get lost pretty quick. So it's a no-win situation in that respect. But if you have the chance, I encourage you all to go along.
I think, really, Rachel, the one true joy about Mind Body Wallet is coming to Chinatown afterwards.
Yes, and nomming.
Yes.
It's pretty much the only joy. In fact, I expected that Mind Body Wallet would get easier the more times I went, but I think this is my 4th time.
Yeah.
And I just...
But you had a long talk with somebody earlier on, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Who did I talk to?
Not the year lady.
Oh, was it the cancer guy? The water cancer guy?
You were speaking to the cancer... Yes, that's...
Yeah. I mean, these people come every year, actually. They have a stall that sells alkaline water, and their claims are that cancer can only live in acidic environments, and so if you alkalinize your body, then cancer can't grow. And amongst other things, they have a little pamphlet that says, helped with my asthma, helped with my pick a disease, whichever one. And we actually got one of these people to say to someone that I was with that you could use this water for cancer therapy. He said that, and I lost it at that point. And I explained to him that that is illegal and unethical and just, abhorrent to the extreme. And then he backtracked as fast as he could and tried to say, no, I didn't say that. But the guy I was with, is it Jarrett?
Jarrett, yeah.
Jarrett, he said, he looked at this guy and said, no, you just said that to me. You said I can use water for cancer therapy. And I told this guy that I was going to report him to the Healthcare Complaints Commission because they do this every year. They were doing a talk at the Speaker's Corner entitled Tap Water Cures Incurable Diseases. And when I asked him about that, he said, oh, no, we don't mean tap water. I said, oh, what do you mean your water, your special alkaline water? He said, oh, no, we can't say that. but I have a photograph of the program that says tap water cures incurable diseases.
Yeah.
And then he pointed me to the old gentleman who's there every 6 months. The one that said he had liver cancer and now he's better. And he pointed me in his direction and said, look, there's our evidence. And I said to him, look, that's a really nice story you've got there. Are you telling me this guy recovered from liver cancer? That's a story.
Yep.
You don't have any evidence. You can't say this. It's illegal and unethical.
I had an interesting talk with a person from Happy Science who was telling me that master, whose name I can't remember now, has access to the universal knowledge library, which is in another dimension. And I said,
What?
Really? And I said, really? He's never there when I'm there. And he said, oh, you're just making that up. And I said, and he's not? I said, no, it's true. It's behind Mars. That's where I go.
But you're making it up, but he's not making it up, right?
His great master wasn't making it up, obviously.
Yeah, but it was funny too, because we were talking to the sound therapy people.
Yeah.
And this lady was clearly convinced that her playing music into people at a slightly different wavelength or something can cure and treat all these things.
But she said, oh no, it doesn't cure or treat. Remember?
She said it helps with, all this sort of stuff. But then she had this folder thick full of testimonials.
Yeah.
And you said to her, but some people, I can write a testimonial, anyone can write a testimonial, how do I know that it's real? And she said, oh, my testimonials are real. I mean, it's like saying, my psychic's not a fraud, yours is. And she said, but it's from a university professor, and it's astounding to me that people can be that gullible, I mean, we did the whole applied kinesiology thing again.
We did. We found a couple of stands doing the arm tricks, and the first time I did it back to one of the women doing it, and the other woman came in and she was livid and basically told us to get lost. And then I did it back to the guy at the Fusion XL.
Yeah, but
he wasn't impressed either.
No, but he seemed to be a little bit less towards the fraudulent side, because he played along with you for quite some time, didn't he?
He did. He didn't tell me to hop it, yeah.
But he also told you how he does it, and he basically said, I shift your centre of gravity.
Yeah.
Which is how it works, right?
Yeah,
so the first time without the pendant, you push away from someone's centre of gravity.
Yeah.
He admitted to that. But then he said to you, interestingly, he said, the pendant changes your centre of gravity.
Oh, I missed that.
Did you miss that?
I missed that.
So he still had an out.
Oh,
His out was that. It was the pendant that did that.
Nice footwork. But then I had Jessica do the swinging the arm behind the back test. And
with just a little bit of magic fingers. Spirit fingers. Spirit fingers. Yeah. And
so,
then,
Jessica, that was your first time at Mind Body Wallet. What did you think?
It was pretty upsetting, actually.
You spent a lot of time talking to some of these people.
I did. It was quite interesting to try to draw them out and find out what their ideas behind what they're saying was, and then trying to get out of them some sort of sense with the connections of it all.
Yeah.
Like, I was with Rachael talking to one of the magic water people, and he was saying, the guy was saying, we have too much acid in our bodies, and if you have this water, it changes and it becomes alkaline. And I was saying, well, how does that physically happen? And it was a blank. He wasn't able to tell me. And he was also claiming that too much acidity compromises your immune system. It's like, well, how does that happen? Blank. So it was...
Well, they're used to people just listening, nodding, and then forking over their money.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And I said to him, look, I only did science to year 10. I'm not a scientist, so I'm interested in how these things work. And his response was, oh, I only did science to year 10 too. So here's this guy peddling this water and making these claims which are supposedly based on science, and he has no better qualifications than I do. And he can't explain to me as a consumer what it's supposed to do and its efficacy and how it's supposed to work and why it's so good.
So, then we came across these people selling these funny discs in octagonals and squares and things, which was supposed to be the technology of Nikola Tesla. Nikola. The technology of Nikola Tesla, which did all sorts of interesting and magical things. And this woman said that she could look at the disc and see the energy vortex.
What?
And we said, oh, what? Yeah, I can see it. I said, so I picked it up and I said, so if I hide it behind this bag, you can still see the energy vortex? Yeah. Oh, so if I give it to one of my friends here, you'll be able to tell which one has it, this disc. She said, yes. I said, okay, turn around. and she actually turned around. It took a lot of talking to get her friend on the stand to also turn around, which she eventually did. I gave this to Jeff, who walked off, and then when she turned back, the other four of us stood there smiling away, and she said, this guy's got it. You, right?
It was me.
It was you, but you didn't have it.
No.
And then Jeff came back and said, well, it wasn't here at all. She said, but I have to be holding it.
To know where it is.
It makes perfect sense.
But I gave her the Skeptics Challenge card anyway, so we'll see what happens.
Is this the disc thing that stops negative energy in a plane or something?
That was another one.
Oh, okay.
But whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. So once again, we've braved Mind Body Wallet, and although it's on again in 6 months' time, just before the TAM.
Oh, so we might not be able to go, Richard.
Maybe do you see the same people again and again?
Yeah. The same people are there again and again.
The magic water thing. I seem to be continually passing magic water. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then the same people. It's like I was saying before, a template almost like. You get the same kind of thing in some of the rows. I couldn't work out if I'd been here before.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Even if people look the same.
Yeah, every 6 months we pass magic water when we go there.
There's a lot of different magic water. Yeah. We pass magic water. Oh. I have to say to Crispy and Yago, he needs to do a caricature of Richard's brother Jeff, because his jokes are just as piss poor as Richard Saunders' jokes.
On that note, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, right, guys, I was talking to Richard Saunders the other day.
All right.
He said if we record a trailer for our podcast, Skeptics with a K, he'd play it on their show.
Well, that's nice of him. That's very generous.
It's pretty good. I'm not sure what we could do, though. I mean...
Well, I suppose you tell people what the show's about.
But it's basically just this.
Yeah, But, we talk about science and skepticism and things.
That's true. I suppose you mentioned the website address.
What, merseysideskeptics.org.uk?
Yeah, or just like search us on iTunes. Oh, and then we could end with like a big song like The Skeptics with a K podcast.
No. Don't do that.
Join us now for Drinking Skeptically in the Think Tank.
And here we are once again in our favourite club just down the street. If you look down the street, I'm sure you'll find it, for the Think Tank. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, thank you for this glass of champagne, Dr. Rachael.
Hello, Richard. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I really enjoy that. And, of course, we have our regular Skeptic Zone type person, Dr. Krissy.
Hello, Richard.
Hello, Dr. Krissy. Now, you're jetting off to London in a few days.
I am indeed. Yeah.
We'll talk about that more in a moment.
Okay.
James. Hello, James.
G'day, everyone.
G'day. And Jason.
Good evening.
Good evening. So a couple of shoe-ins, a couple of blow-ins this week.
Blow-ins. We've got a bastard sheep and a drunken madman.
That's right.
People might not know them by their real names.
Usually not real names.
Yeah.
Rumour has it. And we have Little Nomington here tonight.
We do.
Yeah, Little Nomington, who is now the official mascot of the Skeptic Zone. You can see Little Nomington on the video we just put out about applied kinesiology.
I think it's a Little Nomington production.
It is a Little Nomington production.
Yeah.
Little Nomington, the power wombat.
The power wombat, yes. Who has actually the same power as things like the Power Balance bracelet, I believe.
And the Fusion XL pendant. And other various ones.
Yes.
And they're quite expensive, but Rachie, I see that you can actually buy them for very cheaply now.
You can. In fact, a friend of mine at Wee's MGK, he found them online from the supplier. And do you want to hazard a guess? I mean, they sell in Australia for $60.
Yeah.
I think in New Zealand, where they did a little expose on them recently, which featured you, by the way, didn't it?
It did, yes.
And Vicky Hyde from New Zealand Skeptics. I think they're $70 New Zealand dollars.
Or something like that, yeah.
Something like that. So how much do you guys reckon you'd pay for them wholesale if they'd sell for 60
At
or
those
70?
prices, probably about 30, maybe 20 minimum.
Wow.
Dollars.
Given the materials, it's a little loop of mylar and a funny little hologram, if you're lucky. What about $4?
So are you telling me, Dr. Rachael, that they're not that price? that reasonable price of $60 or whatever?
No. Well, according to the information I have, you can buy them wholesale from China for 3 cents.
3 cents.
3 cents, listeners. 3 cents.
I see, and they're worth every cent.
So you can either buy one for $60 from Power Balance, or if you can go to China and get, $200? Not bad.
For the same price. And you can get them personalised as well. They'll put your own type of logo or your own name, or I am Power Balance shill.
So wait a minute. If I spend 3 cents on each one, for the same price as £1, I could be 200 times as strong.
Be a sorcerer.
The funny thing is, though, if you go to the website, and I might put the URL up on the blog if people want to look for it, because it's not that easy to find. Within the description, which is sort of written in Chinglish, because it's been translated not very well, but it does say what these things are. So it says silicone bracelet, gives you extra strength, improves health. So it has all those same claims, but then when you scroll through the type of bracelets that you can select, there is a Power Balance and there's something quite different. Then there's a little option that says get your own logo. So
it's interesting because I saw that a listener alerted me to the fact that New Zealand Television had done a story on the Power Balance, because the man who is the Australian distributor, Tom O'Dowd, who I met when I did the story with him in Adelaide last year, has apparently gone to New Zealand and is flogging this stuff. And they asked him about the test on Australian TV, because he failed 5 out of 5 tests. And he just really downplayed them, said they were just a silly thing, a nuisance and a guessing game. Well, Tom, when you did the tests with me in Australia, I made a point of asking you at every stage whether you agreed with the tests, and you were very happy with these tests.
He was happy until he failed all the tests, Richard. Funny that.
Which gets back to this video that we put out. Listeners, you would have seen that because it was in the feed. And thank you all those people writing in saying how much you enjoyed the video, which of course stars Dr. H and Dr. Krissy. Thank you, Dr. Krissy.
Yeah, it was good fun.
It was good fun. And I hope that people out there are getting some benefit out of that video. We're going to do some more. And we're wondering what we should do videos on. This is like how it's done, the secrets behind. So if listeners have any ideas, let us know. Let us know, and we'll, the more the merrier, and we'll see what we can do.
Like we said, Richard, it needs to be something fairly specific that we can actually demonstrate.
Yeah. Well, we had the idea of doing cold reading, which is fine, but cold reading is a very big topic. And we've got 10 minutes to sort of get the idea across. But anyway, we'll give that some thought. Now, speaking of hot salamis...
What?
It's a segue.
That was a segue?
Yeah. That was my best. You've got a story about the bum burners, haven't you?
I have?
You do.
I didn't know we were going to discuss this tonight.
Of course we are.
Well, I suppose I better give some context to this story. There is a type of salami that's only available in South Australia, in Adelaide, which is called a bum burner. And basically, it's a very, very hot salami, hence the name. And the name is actually a warning, listeners. And Richard and I discovered these. Well, I used to live in Adelaide, so I've known them for a while. But when we went down to Adelaide to the Skeptics Convention last year, we bought up a whole lot, and we've since been importing them 3 kilos at a time because you can't buy them in New South Wales.
They're extraordinary because they're hot. I mean, they're really hot. It's burning, spicy hot. But the flavour is just incredible.
They're not like something that's so chili hot that you just taste the chili. You do actually get the flavour as well.
Yeah. So
I've happened to find some in my drawer at work the other day, which I didn't know were there, and I was very excited, and so I tweeted it. And somebody wrote back to me on Twitter and said that they discovered them because you and I were talking about them on the Zone.
Yeah.
And they now get their auntie or their auntie's daughter or something to send them over from Adelaide every few months so that they don't run out of supplies either.
They're addictive, aren't they?
Incredibly.
Now, these are available from the Metworth shop in Adelaide. They have a website, don't they? You can order them.
Yeah, they do. It's at the Central Market in Adelaide. If you just Google the Metworth shop, Central Market, you'll find it. And you can call up and speak to the lovely staff and order 3 kilos at a time and send us a kilo.
If you like spicy food and you like salamis, these are a marriage made in heaven. And
it's food, is it?
Yeah.
Right. It's a salami and bum burning. I wasn't really sure.
Oh, no, I was kind of waiting for the sort of tail end of this. You know?
The tail end.
Yeah, get it?
Oh, when you have that, you know about your tail end, let me tell you.
Is there any particular reason why we're talking about this?
Because they're so...
Skeptical element.
Stuff the skeptical element.
You just want free bum burners,
This
don't
is
you?
really good. But the step up are called fire starters, which are bum burners encased in chili flakes. Wow.
Yeah, they're serious.
Everyone's finished?
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, we finished, thank
You
you.
like some dessert?
Oh, no, thank you.
I don't think so. Thank you very much. Yes, of course, we're recording from our Chinese restaurant in our club down the street, which we just had a nice Chinese dinner, in fact, as we normally do before the think tank.
And very reasonably priced, too.
Very reasonably priced. So thank you.
Should we just make this into a podcast about food?
Free advertising. You do anything to get a free drink, Richard.
I do. I need to go for dinner. Now, let me mention, before we get into other topics, that thank you again, and I'm always thanking people for writing in, telling us what you're doing while you're listening to The Zone. I'm sure people right now are raiding their fridge because they're probably feeling hungry after listening to all that. But a listener from the States, Brian George, who's an artist, wrote to me saying that he does his artwork while listening to us on the Skeptic Zone. And I checked out his website, and what wonderful art he does create. So if listeners want to have a look, it's called The Art of a Carbon-Based Life Form, and that's http://carbonbasedart.blogspot.com. The artwork of Brian George, check it out. It's really striking artwork.
Is he the guy that does the medical sculpting? Or is that different?
That's a different guy.
Oh, okay.
That's a different guy. But I'm really pleased that, artists are beavering away doing their artwork and listening to us. That's fantastic. So thank you, Brian.
There's a picture of Brian here with his headphones on, listening to the Skeptic.
Oh, there
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Jason's just dialed up his website and he has... Yeah, he's wearing headphones and working.
See that lovely artwork he's creating with the hands there? If you scroll down, you can see that the finished product... See the hand reaching down, the hand reaching up?
Yeah.
It's quite good, isn't it? It's
that's exquisite.
It is really nice artwork. So, and that's more examples there. That's really...
Oh, he likes Francis
yeah.
Bacon. That's...
I just like bacon.
I like bacon.
There's a theme tonight, isn't there?
There is a theme.
Francis Bacon is amazing. A bit messed up.
So, Brian, look... Sincerely, thank you for letting us know and sharing your wonderful artwork with us. So, listeners, have a look. That's really fantastic. Mm-hmm. Let's move on to a story that's been in the news on the TV here just recently, and that's to do with those people at the Church of Scientology, Rachel.
Yeah. They've been copying it in the media in the last, 3 or 4 days. This started with a story done by Steve Kinane, who is a very good Walkley Award-winning journalist. He's awesome. I love everything Steve does.
Yes, we know.
But I'm not biased. He did a story on the cult of Scientology, and he did a 2-part story on ABC Lateline. And if you want to find these stories, Sheep has them on his YouTube channel, don't you?
Yep, that's right. So you can just go to youtube.com/bastardsheep and you'll be able to find them all there.
Yeah, so the first story appeared on Lateline, and this was basically about...
Your daughter, wasn't it?
Yeah, actually, Jason's got the...
I do. This is a story about Scarlett Hannah, who's the daughter of Mark Hannah and Vicky Dunstan. Vicky Dunstan's the current president of Scientology in Australia. Mark Hannah's a former high-up. I'm not exactly sure where he is at the moment, but given that he tried to kiss an anonymous protester at a protest recently and got arrested for it, I think he's probably not particularly high up anymore.
Oh. Really?
Courtesy buses due about 5 minutes time, going to Holston Park, double children, Marrickville, That's Awesome Park. They'll have children marathon in 5 minutes' time. Thank you.
They are real, folks.
People have been waiting for those for a long time, haven't they?
They have. There's your bus announcement fix.
We get bad reviews if there's no bus announcement.
We do.
Bizarre.
People love them. In fact, someone was saying they want to set up a Facebook fan site for the bus announcement.
There's a lot of weird people out
You should see Krissy's face at the moment.
So back to
carry on.
Back to Scarlet Hannah. Scarlet Hannah, daughter of Vicky and Mark. She's made some specific claims about how children are treated in the so-called Church of Scientology, and it's quite damaging stories, really, Rachel.
Yeah, well, I think the first part was that to do with being taken from her parents, and I mean, there's certainly accusations of child abuse that were covered up.
Family separation.
Yeah, I've gone to the story I've got in front of me here. The allowance was about 20 minutes each night with parents. So the kids taken away, well, kids of the Sea Org members at least. The Sea Org is the sort of the high-up elite, if you like, of Scientology.
Yeah,
kids of Sea Org members given, only about 20 minutes with their parents. There have been a lot of allegations over the years of child labour. Kids of 13, 14 being put onto staff and forced to work at minimum wage, that kind of thing. So that was the first part of the story, and the second part of the story was more specific in terms of abuse.
But in between those two stories, James, there were two stories on the same night on the sort of current affairs shows. So A Current Affair and Today Tonight both did the same story at the same time, didn't they?
That's correct.
On Tuesday night, wasn't it? No, Wednesday
No, it was Wednesday night.
Wednesday night, yeah.
So Late Line had it Tuesday night, then Today Tonight and Current Affair Wednesday night at the exact same time, to the minute.
Yeah. With this same girl. What was her name again? Hannah.
Scarlet Hannah.
Yeah, with Scarlet Hannah.
That's not unusual, though. Often those two competing shows will have the same story on at the same time.
But obviously, Steve Kinane had the exclusive.
Yeah.
And once he aired the first part, then the vultures pounced and ran the same story at the same time.
It's well worth watching all three of them, because there is different information adding to the story in all three of them.
And people can check that out on your YouTube channel.
That's correct.
Excellent.
I think one of the things I found interesting about the second part of the Late Line story was particularly focused on the cover-up of molestation of a young girl, I think 11 years old or 13 years old, by one of the high-up people in the church. And there was one particular woman who was involved in the sort of human rights side of Church of Scientology, and it's alleged that she actually coached the mother and the daughter to not speak out about the abuse.
It's the Citizens Commission for Human Rights, which is a branch of Scientology which is very anti-psychology.
That's right, yeah. They're the people that... their name is, as you say, the Citizens Commission for Human Rights, but in fact they're totally against any treatment for psychiatry.
They're basically an anti-psychiatry front group. And in an odd kind of segue, the AVN sell their material on their store.
I know. I was going to say that, but the thing that's really interesting about the allegations made last night, once they spoke to the girl who says that she was abused, the woman that coached her mother and her to not speak out to the Department of Community Services has since gone on to be one of the highest ranking people in the church. And she's now involved in CCHR, as you say, and she's been awarded the Freedom Medal, I think, for services to human rights within the Church of Scientology, despite the fact that she covered all this up. And there was also another woman on that report who was talking from Seattle, and she's an ex-member of the church, and she's subsequently written a couple of books about the physical abuse that she that she succumbed to when she was in the church, as well as other allegations she's got about the way that children are treated and other people are treated in the church.
It's not been a good week for Scientology.
Well, I mean, all of this is happening at the moment because one of our senators in Australia, Nick Xenophon, he called for a Senate inquiry into the Church of Scientology some time ago because he was of the opinion that it wasn't a church, it shouldn't have tax-free status, and it's really a cult. And that was knocked out. It was voted out at the time. But he's now called, and this is another segue, for all tax-free organisations to be investigated, right? And that includes the cult. This includes someone else, Jason. Who does that include?
Oh, does that include the AVN? Goodness me.
Really?
I think it might.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, well, personally, myself, I see them all as cults, really. So, if you're going to investigate one cult, you should investigate all of their entitlements to the tax-free status. But, the AVN operates like a cult as well.
Don't they? Yeah.
I think we were talking before we were recording that a couple of months ago on the Skeptic Zone we read out some press release from Scientology and then just put in AVN instead of something else.
Yeah, and it didn't sound out of place.
It didn't sound out of place, no.
No, I mean, speaking of... can we go on now, or did you want to say anything else about the cause?
No, they make me angry. I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about
Scientology
them.
much more.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll wait and see what happens, but, this lady from Seattle was... Tony Jones from Lateline asked her...
That's Amy Scobie.
Amy Scobie, thank you. Tony Jones asked her what her opinion would be what would be the impact of Australia having a Senate inquiry into Scientology and whether that would resonate worldwide. And her opinion was it would be very important and it would make a very big impact. So we can only hope that, Nick Xenophon can get this through and that this can be the beginning of a lot of so-called charities and churches being investigated.
That's interesting. Now, earlier in the show we had a report about the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival. And, of course, Scientology were there again.
Yeah.
The biggest stand of the entire room.
Yes, it was. And this time they weren't masquerading as anything. They were just Scientology. And one of our friends, Jarrah from Wollongong, had a stress test on an e-meter. I had one years ago, and I made the needle dance everywhere. But I had a conversation with one of their representatives, and you've got to feel sorry for these people. They've been sucked in, and they're just... He was trying to tell me that thoughts don't come from the brain. It's like, well, where do you go with someone who thinks that thoughts don't come from the brain?
That's just classic dualism, really. It comes from the soul, surely.
Is that what
See what I mean by they're all cults?
I don't feel sorry for them.
You don't feel sorry for them?
No, I don't. I mean, having spent so many years investigating all this sort of stuff and, talking to believers and
you almost have to be willingly ignorant, actually wanting to be taken in for some of these things.
Yeah, you just...
I feel sorry for the people on the fringes, such as people, in families who are trying to get out and they're being separated from their loved ones.
Yeah, the ones that are born into it.
And people that are actually trying to be critical thinkers within the church and make it a little more sensible, and they just get crushed at every turn, and they're the ones we should feel sorry for. The actual true believers. Screw them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that shut everyone up.
Stuff them.
Well, let me think of a good segue.
I had one.
What? No, this is another topic now. So I want to segue into another topic.
Yeah, I was going to segue into another topic. That's what a segue is, right?
Yes, but I want to segue into
the things that you stand on.
Oh, that's right. What happened to those things? They never took off, did they?
But don't you remember when we went to Dragon Con?
Yeah.
There were people on segways helping with the traffic. No.
Oh,
Yeah.
No.
Adam Savage uses one quite often.
On Mythbusters.
Yeah, but he's special. He blows stuff up for fun.
Anyway, what was the segue?
Okay, here's the segue. Let me think. Now, Scientology, they're a worldwide organisation, and then Krissy is going around the world soon. See, wasn't it? All right.
Seamless.
Now, Krissy's going to go to London for 7 weeks.
I am.
She's going to be meeting lots of interesting people over there. Now, Krissy, to help you in your trip, and to help us, I'd like to present you with this wonderful iRiver recorder, digital recorder, so you can do interviews for the Skeptic Zone.
That's superb. That's exactly what I want.
It's a 4 gigabyte recorder, voice recorder, and I must have a special word now to thank the listeners who donate to the Skeptic Zone, those who subscribe for $1 a week, or those who sometimes send us donations. That money has gone directly into buying you this recorder.
Well, that's brilliant. Thank you very much, listeners, because while I'm over there in London, hopefully I'm going to be catching up with some of my old mates. Chris French, obviously, because he was my supervisor when I did my PhD, so I'll be catching up with him. And I'm going to be giving a talk at the Skeptics in the Pub in London. They've actually got 2 Skeptics in the Pub now, which I found a bit bizarre. Lovely Jack of Kent, he started up his own Skeptics in the Pub, but in Westminster.
Yeah. Well, London's a big place.
Well, it is. I wonder if this is going to be the start of, lots of other boroughs of London. Or
Skeptics in the Pub, Brentford Skeptics in the
I know, could be kind of could lead to all sort of skeptic wars, I think.
Now, is there one in Wales?
No, there isn't. Not yet. No, not yet.
Yeah, that's all it is.
But where will you be?
Right, I will be in the one in central London.
In central London.
Central
and when?
London. Right, it's the 8th of June.
Yep, 8th of June.
8th of June. Starts at 7 o'clock, I think. And best thing to do is check out their website for times and dates and all the rest of it. And because I think they have limited numbers now. When I was there a few years ago, anyone could just turn up, but it got so popular now that they have to limit numbers. So you need to check out the website to make sure that you can get tickets.
Goodness me.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing.
Do you know which pub it's at?
No.
I've stumped you now.
I don't, because it changed. It was always the King's Head in Holborn, but it's not in Holborn. Oh no, it's something Oak in Holborn now. That's right, because it was always in London Bridge. Something like that. But anyway, check it out on the internet, and you'll find it.
So if listeners want to meet Krissy in person,
come along. I'll be there from about 6 o'clock in the evening on the Tuesday night. But I'm also going to be down at Goldsmiths on the 15th of June. There's a talk being given there by a professor who's talking about the recovered memory debate, which, as listeners may know, that's one of my bags. So if you want to come along and have a chat down there, that'll be cool. We can meet up before, and because I've got my fantastic new recorder, maybe we could have a bunch of people and I can record everybody chatting about skepticism in London.
What a great idea! You could have a London think tank.
Absolutely. Oh, we could. Let's do. Oh, there we go. Right. The Penderel's Oak, High Holborn. That's the pub.
And what's the website people can check out?
Just Skeptics.
Skeptics in the Pub London?
Yes.
All right.
London.skepticsinthepub.org.
There we go. That's the one.
So, listeners, if you'd like to be part of the think tank, and we'd love to have a London think tank hosted by Dr. Krissy Wilson, check out the site, get yourself along, and I'm sure you can all cook up something between you.
Yeah.
And you can ask Krissy what really goes on here when we're recording the think tank.
Yeah, what Australians are really like.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what we're doing right now. Jason and I are both on our laptops, sending emails to Krissy and spamming her as we speak. Is that what you're doing?
Oh, yeah.
Did you? Now, James, you just took a photograph of our microphone setup. Did you Twitter that?
No, not yet. I'll do that as soon as we've finished recording.
All right. And speaking of the AVN, see, what a great segue that was. Dr. Rachael, you have some more news.
Yes. I don't know if we mentioned this last week, maybe not, but the AVN had scheduled themselves... Well, I know I did. I talked about it on Dr. Rachael last week.
Rachael, yes.
So they were meant to have a seminar in Perth after there were seemed to be a spike of adverse reactions to the flu vaccine in children under 5. Now, that seminar was cancelled. It was being scheduled to be held at the Uniting Church in the city in Perth, and at the 11th hour, almost literally, the church cancelled it. Now, it's subsequently been rescheduled, and this time, Jason, it's going to be at...
State Library of WA, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Yes. So the perception of that would be it's kind of... given that it's a state library, the perception would be it's government endorsed, which obviously it's not. But yeah, it's a little worrying. But we'll see what we can do.
Not that there's any conspiracy.
No.
Let them believe it. They'll believe it anyway.
Yes, that's right.
I mean, it's interesting because some people that I heard that some people were looking into the makeup of the board of governors, essentially, for the library in WA. And there's a couple of people on there that might be not particularly happy about having this type of seminar on their premises. One of whom is a medico who specialises in OBG, Obs and Gyn. So she might be interested to know exactly the nature of the avian's material and that the venue of which she is on the Board of Governors is being used for this. But according to information from Mrs. Dory, the library has assured her that they will not cancel this time and it won't happen, and she's guaranteed. According to information from Mrs. Dory.
Good. Well, that's the big caveat, isn't it? You can't necessarily trust information according to Mrs. Dory. But, we'll see how it all works out. This is what we always do.
She's Australia's expert in vaccination.
Leading expert
in
vaccination.
She has a brain.
Yeah.
That's right. It's like Jenny McCarthy has a mummy instinct, right?
Well, yeah, that's the same thing. So, the 1st of June, I think, is scheduled to be happening. One interesting thing about the previous cancellation was initially it was blamed on the church and also on the Department of Health. So it's since been blamed on the skeptics and some people who wrote lying letters to the church.
I'm shocked.
Now, there was also some news from the AVN saying that there would be a huge media backlash as a result of this cancellation. Now, someone who's not here tonight, Dave the Happy Singer, posted a picture recently on Facebook of this media backlash, and it was a tumbleweed because there was the so-called media backlash was Mrs. Dory calling up one talkback radio station in Perth to a sympathetic talkback host by the name of, is it Harry Sattler?
Yep. Oh, I don't know.
Sattler, whatever his name is, yeah.
He works for 6PR, which is AM in Western Australia. Now, so she called him up first, and then a couple of days later she called him up again, and he had some discussion about it. And then some of us did a little bit of Google search on Sattler. Now, he's been a talkback host for 25 years or something, a long, long time. Now, if listeners in Australia are familiar with the program Media Watch, which I'm sure we are, our international listeners may have heard of it, but basically it's a media watchdog program. So if you find something wrong in the media, you alert them and they basically slap people around for it. So any journalists that end up on Media Watch, it's known as a big shame. It's a black mark against your name.
It's delicious. The media are eating their own. It's superb.
It is. It's wonderful. And the guy who hosts it just, is no holds barred. And in fact, last week he actually gave himself a slap for doing something wrong. Anyway, if you do a search for Media Watch and Howard Sattler, you'll find
Howard Sattler. Yeah.
Did I say Harry?
Yeah, Howard.
Yeah, okay, Howard Sattler. You'll find a long list of mentions on Media Watch for incorrect information, for slanderous information, for racist information, interestingly.
I guess he's a sort of a vague equivalent to Rush Limbaugh in the States.
Right. Well, I mean, he's meant to be a shock jock, but back in 1992, I know that's a long time ago, but this is quite a famous incident. There were 3 young Aboriginal boys killed in a car accident, and he was quoted as saying, "Good riddance to bad rubbish, I'm glad they're dead," or something like that. And so there's reference to that all over the internet because... and then in 2005, he did something similar where he had a caller ring up about... nigger, shoot yourself in the head or something, and he's laughed about it and said, "Oh, I didn't say that, but ho, ho, ho." So
that's disgusting.
I don't know.
Unless you're a rapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay.
I don't know if me mentioning this in the same context as Meryl Dory is poisoning the well. Is it? Is it a logical fallacy?
No, but it's a great segue.
It's only a logical fallacy if you're trying to cheat with it.
No, no. My point is that the media backlash has come from this one guy who has a dubious past.
And it was instigated by Meryl herself ringing up.
Exactly. So tumbleweeds
Yabu
are
sucks
still
to the AVN.
Yeah, and the tumbleweeds are still rolling as far as
And
I
the
can
crickets
tell.
are chirping.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
That's right.
Now, people can find out about tumbleweeds and crickets at your website.
Can they?
In fact, why don't you tell us all about it?
Skepticator? Oh.
Yes, I'm trying to give him a plug, folks.
I'm looking at that Meryl at the moment.
Can we talk about that, Meryl?
Can you mention that, Meryl, please? Where can people find out?
Hang on.
I thought that's what you were referring to. They can't know the League of Gentlemen. They can't know the League of Gentlemen because it hasn't been shown in Australia.
It has.
So what is that Meryl all about?
That Meryl is a short web series highlighting some of the idiocy that Meryl comes out with. And let's face it, it's not that difficult. There's a lot of material. Somebody commented on Facebook the other day that wondering when the feature-length movie is going to come out, and the following comment was, "There's plenty of material for that. It could be any time now."
So that Meryl is a YouTube series, yeah?
It's a YouTube series, yeah. You can find it at youtube.com/thatmeryl. MERYL.
And basically, it's taking phrases that or statements that she's made, and then putting them up in black and white just to point out how ridiculous or wrong they are, and then having a scene from the League of Gentlemen where they say that Meryl. Each one's about 20 seconds long.
It's quite good.
It's pretty simple.
However, we were talking.
Who thinks pertussis and measles doesn't kill anyone?
Ooh, that Meryl! But we were talking about your website, of course.
Oh, my real website.
Yes.
Skepticator.com. Yes, as I've mentioned a couple of times before, I think on the tank, Skepticator is an RSS aggregator for skeptical content, and it's searchable, and all sorts of cool things can be found from it. I've upgraded the search today, so it now returns far more search results, and I'm up to probably approaching, by the time this episode comes out, about 20,000 articles.
Wow!
And nearly all skeptically focused. So it's going along a pace. It's quite cool. I'm excited. Someone brought it home to me the other day that eventually, if I keep this going for a couple of years, there's going to be 1 million plus articles on there, and I'm going to have to deal with this enormous amount of data. And I trembled, and then I went, "Ooh, cool!" So this is kind of great. So yeah, cheers.
Well done.
Cheers. Yeah.
Well done, indeed. Yes, absolutely.
And one of the things that you can find there actually is Draw Muhammad Day, which happens to be today, the day that we're recording.
Has dominated Skepticator today. It's been absolutely full of Draw Muhammad content. But I'll let you carry on.
It was all started off by a woman by the name of Molly Norris, was it? I
Molly
believe?
Norris, yes.
She drew us the other day. South Park had a couple of episodes where Muhammad was shown wearing a bear suit in.
3 announcements in one episode.
It's good.
That was for poker.
Yeah.
Okay.
South Park had an episode that included Muhammad in it, but they weren't allowed to show him at all because of all the recent conflicts with the Danish cartoons. So they had him in a U-Haul trailer, in a bear costume, in a whole bunch of other things, just always covered up. And still they got threatened. So this person came along, drew up a little poster just for a bit of a laugh, and just a once-off laugh. Picture of a tree, a house, a car, all with arrows pointing to them saying, "This is Muhammad." Sent it off to quite a few people in the social networking arena. They sent it on, it became viral. Everybody wanted to get behind it.
Because Molly is an actual cartoonist from Seattle.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, there would have been a lot of people got that in the first round.
This smacks to me. This is very similar to Boobquake. You know about Boobquake?
It is, yes.
Dr. Krissy?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
Boobquake.
Pretty sure we discussed that last time.
I think we gave it a mention. Okay, Boobquake was because this Islamic cleric decided that, or proclaimed that earthquakes and other such things were more or less a result of women wearing revealing clothing.
Too much cleavage.
Too much cleavage.
That is true, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
So these women said, well, this day, I can't remember what the day was, is Boob Quake Day, and women were encouraged to wear revealing tops, you see, and showing cleavage. And then to see...
You were into it, weren't you?
Then to see whether the earthquake measurements for that day went up or down, you see. So
Maybe some other things went up and down that day. It's typical of the pommy to lower the tone. Isn't it?
Do you know what?
Sorry, ladies.
I remember what you and I were doing that day. Oh.
Nomming?
Maybe we don't want to...
I'm just going to leave it at that.
And on that bombshell.
We walked to the airport.
Oh, we walked to the airport?
Yeah.
Nothing to... Oh,
But
and
were
we
you
nommed.
both wearing revealing clothes?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was.
I was.
He was wearing one of those mesh singlets that you can see.
And very short shorts.
The Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And he was swishing all the way to the airport.
But strangely enough, no earthquakes.
A few cars crashed.
In shock. Getting back to Muhammad.
Yes. So anyway, as soon as it became viral and everybody started getting behind it, she decided, no, this was just meant to be a one-off image to make people laugh. I didn't actually want this to happen, so she decided to disassociate herself from it. So now the Molly Norris, the original creator of it, is no longer got anything to do with Draw Muhammad Day.
Oh, okay.
However, it doesn't stop there. One of the people who took it up decided to create a Facebook group behind it to try and collect all the pictures. A lot of the pictures that were getting uploaded were quite rude and disgusting things, and once he saw that, he didn't want anything to do with it either. So, the two main people who have turned it into a sensation, both of them turning their backs on it now, don't want anything to do with it.
Wow.
But it's
quite
been
strange.
That Facebook page today has just been incredible. Some of the stuff you would expect to see from the underbelly of the internet rather than Facebook, but it's been absolutely hilarious. There's been a large Muslim contingent just copy-pasting Allahu Akbar all over the whole thing, and millions of pictures. I confess I put a picture up there myself on a little post-it note.
So if you want to see the images, you can either go to Facebook and look for Draw Muhammad Day, or you can go to Skepticator.
Draw Muhammad Day, or Skepticator has been covered with it. There's a search for Draw Muhammad Day on Skepticator. And the greatest upshot of it all, I think, is that Pakistan today banned Facebook. Entirely.
Yeah.
So, hey, guys in Pakistan, try and friend me. Go on.
You know what? I'm just reminded of a line from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where there's a newscast. You know, the heroes are on the Heart of Gold, travelling through the galaxy, and they're watching a newscast. And the guy says, "Hello to all the intelligent people of the universe watching this, and to all the rest of you, the message is bang the rocks together, guys."
Win.
You remember? There you go. Oh, I cacked myself silly when I saw that the first time. And I think I'm going to be cacking myself silly all the way home, but I'd like to thank, unless there's anything else we wanted to talk about.
No.
I think we're all talked out. I'd like to thank Dr. H. Thank you, Dr. H.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you very much, of course. And I'd like to thank Jason for coming on.
Thank you, Richard.
Pleasure to see you. Dr. Krissy, all the best on your trip.
Thank you very much.
And I hope some Skeptic Zone fans come along and say hi to you.
Hopefully they will. Yep.
James, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And until our next think tank with bus announcements and everything, it's goodbye from us here at the club.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh yes, Boob Quake. You got to check that out.
Richard, after that episode, I'm almost completely healed.
Are you?
Yeah, just the vibrations coming from the speakers of my computer.
Yes.
It's just sending a healing energy through my bronchial tubes.
It was all that report from the Mind Body Wallet, wasn't it?
It was the chakra. My bronchial chakra is just vibrating, and all those bacteria are just they're just dropping like flies.
Are they?
It's a phenomenon. And thank you for sharing that with me.
That's quite all right. And look, if all else fails, you can always try the good old applied kinesiology, as seen on the Skeptic Zone video.
Applied kinesiology.
That's the one.
That sounds extremely scientific.
It is.
Yeah. Well, look, thanks, Richard, for having me again. I do apologise for my ill health for the last few weeks. I've been so out of the loop. It's been frustrating and disappointing, but it's great to know that you've been carrying the baton without me.
We have, but now you're back and you're almost better. The listeners will be pleased to hear that because people have been writing in saying, "Where's Stefan?" So
I know I have been very disappointed. It's been a struggle, but it's fantastic now. It's almost over.
Excellent, Stefan. Well, you go now and get into your sauna with your chakras and your crystals. Finish off your healing.
A little bit of aromatherapy, I think, will do it.
Yeah,
I think that'll really clinch the deal.
All right.
We'll see you next time, eh?
Okay, Steph.
Thanks,
Bye.
Richard. See ya.
You've been listening to The Skeptic Zone. Visit our website at www.skepticzone.tv for comments, contacts, and extra video reports.
The Skeptic Zone.